My name is Nona Cagney Palmer. I'm she, her, and I'm a trans woman. During my master's program here, I had gone as a they, them, as a non binary person. I had a big beard. I was listening to a podcast by Sarah Zedig, the Trans Questioning podcast, and she had on there a woman who was a trans counselor, and she said she gets a lot of people coming in and asking, "Hey, I think I'm trans, but I can't transition. It's going to be impossible. I'm thinking of ending it," that sort of thing. And I wasn't there. I wasn't at that point. But she said, "Listen or allow yourself to be what you want for 5 minutes." She said for a day, but I just said for 5 minutes. And so I said, for 5 minutes, I'll be a woman. I'm going to just say I'm a woman for 5 minutes. And I immediately started to cry, and everything kind of broke down, and I had to pull off the side of the road, and that was it for me. That was February of 2020. March 10th, I went to Planned Parenthood and started getting on my hormones, and it's been 2 years. I went on Amazon and I bought a blue skirt. So there's this thing called dysphoria, and then there's the flip side of that gender dysphoria is gender euphoria. And so when I put the skirt on, I was just like, yes, this is it. I felt happy. I didn't realize that I had felt bad. You know, it's that thing where if you boil a frog, it won't jump out because it's the slow gradual increase in temperature. And so I had that. So when the temperature was taken away, and I didn't realize how good I felt. And so I just immediately started going full time. I'm wearing my favorite dress today, and I don't know, there's just something freeing about choosing the kind of clothing that aligns with what you think you should look like or what you want to look like. I always wore big baggy. I've lost about 50 pounds, and I always wore these really big baggy shirts or big baggy pants or like cargo jeans and cargo pants or something like that. And I always told myself it was because they were comfortable, but really it was because I felt like I was trying to hide. Yeah. And so I don't feel like I have to hide anymore. Honestly, the last thing I expected before the year was done was this whole crisis. Damaged and damaging, you know? Even like 2 weeks later, I'm undone. Fuck me, this memory slips, snare, it garrotes, it hemorrhages, it leaves incisions against my own sense of... Just like always, I made myself what she wanted, kindly used parts gifted this body at birth, so she lay there as I pull out and after, maybe I'm still after New Year's Eve, openly shedding my eyes' blood. Perhaps this is a good thing. There is no longer the question regarding what surgery I need anymore. Single memories don't add up to dysphoric drama, but take 7, 8 of them, 7, 8 days until there's been at least one day like New Year's Eve. Variations on the same pattern each month, where I'm close, about to take one of those X-Acto dimes, you know, zero it out, make me right. Generally, I'm an extrovert, and so going to poetry nights and hearing my peers and people that I really admire read has been a great kind of thing to do. I like performing. I got to read in Philadelphia last week at the Association of Writers and Poets Conference. We had an off-site reading for UL Lafayette. It was great. It was a fantastic thing. My writing process, I don't even know if you could call it a process. It's kind of just like vomit. I just sort of expel all of this stuff onto the page and then tinker with it over the course of a few weeks. I have a poem called Skirt, where I was like called a faggot and stuff like that. But honestly, a lot of my there's this poet named Ross Gay, and he is about expressing joy in poetry. And so a lot of times my poetry has some joy in it, and there's worry, there's a lot of worry. Um, but I try to find some joy, in expressing it. We sat at the wing place with the good Parmesan bones. Me, egg washed chicken fried, decided on a course. My sister, hard boiled buxom badass that I break against. She's got this persona right, a cultivated professional disdain. No one sneers like my sis, sees so clear like my sis. In a wrestling match, nobody's feared like my sis, right? You laugh, but one time I had to put my forehead down on her nose. I cracked a molar, so I wasn't all that intimidated. Once negotiated, my sister is dark and dorky and damaged, like her sister at the wing place is moral and flawed and cynical and loving and flawed. And how could I tell her? How could I tell her? Could I tell her?